Who you listening to? It's Markey B, and I'm your host. And this is the Who You Listening To podcast. Welcome. Today we're going to talk about the gift of being yourself. Yes, there's a gift in being you. That's right, you. See, last Friday, I was hanging with my girlfriend, and we were watching this movie called Encanto. See, Encanto is a Disney Plus movie. In this movie, I witnessed a story unfold. And the story was talking about a young woman who was exploring life's greatest discoveries. And that's the gift of being yourself. Not a carbon copy of anybody else, just the gift of being you. And it made me wonder, what is the gift of being yourself? Like, really, what's the gift of it? And I started to think, as the story unfolds, how we can get lost in trying to be something that we are really not. We can learn and discover information about others. Instead, not know the key person that we need to daily learn. And that's ourselves. There's so many tutorials about being you, right? At first, maybe you might have been hesitant even clicking on this because there's tons of people out there talking about the gift of being you. But what really is the gift of being you? So, you came here for truth. That's what I'm going to give you. Here are the deeper discoveries of the gift of being you. First, rid yourself of others' expectations. We can never live up to people's expectations. So why try? Like, why waste our time being something we're really not? Or holding on to something that somebody else came up with and developed, and that was never the picture for us. Or never the picture we could truly see. Let go of it. Like, really. Like, aren't you tired? Aren't you really wore down from being something that you were never called to be? Yeah, it was great that they had the expectations, because expectations by itself is just a state of expecting. But that's not something that we should lock ourselves into. Why? Because they weren't even the ones that created us. In the good book, we have a bigger creator who formed us. Someone who took the time to discover us and saw our journey all the way through. See, when we actually tap into that others just merely expect, they can never dictate our stories, or that they never even had a part in the creation of us even being formed, then we can release ourselves of these expectations from others. We can feel lighter. Regardless of how great they still are expectations that they hold for us. It was never meant for us to hold on to it for ourselves. Rid yourself of it. Secondly, rethink and delete false identities. Just be you. See, reflection is key in this process because you get a deeper glance at if you really been real with your own self. See, when we ask deeper questions of ourselves, we can actually get the answers that matter. And we can eliminate the things that really don't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what we want people to perceive us to be. What do you mean? Like, working up for somebody to feel like you are actually deep, or to look at you as wise when you are wise. When you're worth being listened to. when you worth being valued and loved the way you've been designed. And that means we have to go back and look deeper at the things we told ourselves that are just flat out. Like, let me just be real. It's flat out, fam. It's just not. It's not the truth. Yeah, the weakness you keep on seeing as a weakness, and you wonder why people find it as something that is special, because it is something special. Live in truth. Because truth is, some of the weakness that we think about ourselves are actually gifts that we're going to be able to use for the greater good. If we just rethink, or if we rethink our story. Like when we tell people our story and you want to pause at some parts, or you rather not say some of the folks that you grew up with, or rather not really talk about different family members or their personalities, because maybe somebody really won't see them as unique and will think otherwise. Well, fam, it's a part of your story. See, your story is powerful. You just have to re-see it. Rethink it. That's what makes you unique. Yeah, you're taking care of your family members in a certain way. That's what makes you unique. Yeah, your family is close. That's what makes you unique. Yeah, you come from a single parent household. That's what makes you unique. Yeah, your story may have seemed rough. Maybe you have never traveled anywhere around the state. That's what makes you unique. Your imagination, that's what makes you unique. When you can come up with these creative ideas and others have a hard time coming up with these different ideas and imagination, that's what makes you unique. You just have to see it more true to what it actually is. That is a part of you. That no matter where you start, it's not how you end, unless you decide to end in such fashion. That just maybe if you look deeper at that loved one that you don't understand, or that may have caused hurt, maybe you actually can get a deeper glance that was just only one section of their book. See, we all have a book that's unfolding. It's like in this movie, Maribel's abuela, she had a story. A unique story of love, sacrifice, pain, and this tiny miracle. And the miracle was a part of their family. And if the tiny miracle is just you being born, if the tiny miracle is that you made it out of that neighborhood, but that was tough, however, you're still here to tell the story. Your book is still being told. Yeah, it may be a rough chapter you're in. And maybe it's one of self-discovery, which I'll tell you right now, truth is, self-discovery will always continue on throughout your whole life. You'll always be becoming something bigger. That will never change. Just don't let one chapter be told in such a way that you lose sight of what's actually happening. It's 2022, and it's already got started off to a fast start. And if you was really to go back and think about 2021, the pandemic and COVID, and take a deeper glance at it, did you really appreciate it? Yeah, I don't know your story. I don't know the book. I don't know what chapter you're in, but I do know no matter the chapter, there is power in it. And that even in pain, that it's not the end, that it's just a part of the book. And that's what we love about books, that it has a story, it has a beginning, it has a rise, it has a fall, and it has this miracle that all of a sudden happens to have this great ending. However, we must let the book unfold. And with the book unfolding, we must have the right reflection, because with the right mindset, we'll see a deeper perspective and we can eliminate false identities. Fellas, ladies, release false identities. It's okay if it's not you. It was never meant to be you. Get rid of the false identities. In the movie, it talks about this character named Bruno. And they talk about how we don't talk about Bruno. And maybe you feel like Bruno, the odd one out, the one that's gift is not talked about. Maybe your uniqueness is not always a highlight. However, I want you to know that you can eliminate and free yourself of that false identity. There's purpose to you. Your uniqueness is what this world needs. Your brightness, your smile, the way you laugh, the way you talk, no matter how weird your voice is, your gift is special. You're worth being talked about. You're worth being fully seen. You don't have to put on another character in order to be this brave you. When we're able to release ourselves of false identities, we can focus more on the task we were called for. That leads me to my third point. Own it. Own the power of being you. Own your story. Go back and find out your history, because that's a part of you. Go back and think about your childhood and every story and start to figure out these different pieces that will add up to show you what makes you unique. See, we all got something that makes us unique. We all got a weird quirk. We all got something worth highlighting. We all got a gift that is valuable to this world. We must own it. Let me let you into a secret. Well, the key truth. You are what you do, not what you say. This tough exterior, this persona that I am this great being, or I am this person that's worth being listened to. Well, if you are, just do. It's not what you say. It's what you do. Own it. Own every stage you're at. Own it. So when you walk into your job, they actually can see it now. When you talk to your friends, or when you court someone or being courted, they actually can see and hear you because you're just being. Own it. There's value in being you. Stop trying to be seen and just be. When we be, we will always be seen. Not seen just from anybody, seen for the right people. And the right people around you will tell you the truth, for there's freedom in truth. Like in the movie, the character Maribel, she knew too well others' story. She knew too well of their expectations. She fell victim to her grandmother's expectations that her door would automatically open with this magnificent gift that they will all see. And maybe that's you, that you have people around you that are thinking that you were going to have this magnificent gift that everybody see, and they see it in your family, they see it in your brother, they see it in your other sibling, but they have a hard time seeing it in you because it just didn't show in the same way. So Maribel fell victim to not being seen, to the expectations of others in the way her gift would come about and would blossom. And so she knew too well about the expectations of others. She knew every story to be told except for hers. And when she thought about her story, it always ended right where she wished it would have started. And that was being seen. And folks, there's no money ever that's going to make you feel seen if you never see the gift of being you. So as she told her story, she believed so much in the power that everybody else would get their gift. However, it just wasn't meant to be for her. Or on the flip side, just like her family members, like her sister, she felt the need to be perfect. Some folks fall victim to trying to be this perfect human being, which we are just not. It's okay. It's okay. It's in the unscripted things that we do in life that actually are the most beautiful moments of life. That's true love. It's in the unscripted moments. It's in the laugh that wasn't expected. It's an activity that actually just came about because you guys just came up with it in the neighborhood just because you didn't have something else planned. And you had to plan it out just with your imagination or just with the basketball. It's just been available for you and your significant other, and y'all just start shooting, and y'all never had to spend a dime. Yet the joy that came from that memory was priceless. It took no effort, because it takes no effort in being you. So you can release yourself of being perfect. Or just like her other sister, the strength that she possessed. It doesn't have to be a female or a male for an individual to understand that it can be tough carrying a weight of others and yourself. When we were never meant to carry all these weights. We are not superhuman. It's okay to be human. See, the superhumanness of us is just being ourselves. That's the magic. That's why we can look at these Marvel characters and we can look at these different stories of these superhumans, because when we look at it, we see their humanity, and that the beauty is not in the powers that they have. It's in the heart of the human being. That's where your strength lies in, not in all these exterior things that never really matter. Maribel searched and searched all these different things, only to realize her true gift and talents. And you may think, well, what was her gift and talent? Well, that's not important. What's really important is that our gifts and talents are just one small phase of actually really what's the gift of being us. Truly, the gift of being you is just being you. Your assistance, your energy, your presence. Don't you see? People love being around you because your presence is contagious. Don't you see they love your quirky laugh? Don't you see they were around you because, yes, you have all this information that may not seem valuable at times, but it actually is valuable and adds to conversation. Don't you see your personality? You're exactly the gift. The gift is you. That's the truth. Truth be told, it took me a moment to see that the gift was me. That it was no stage that was going to be that great. That truthfully, the stage that was the biggest was the stages I created and spoke at where it was no audience. Except one. That no matter the audience, no matter the stages, and not about me, even you, that the true gift is you. You're exactly what this world needs. You're exactly the prayer and the answer to someone's problem. You're the solution. That's why you tune into this podcast. That's what makes you click on this podcast. It was more than just the thumbnail. It was more than just me speaking. You're purpose driven. And one thing when we are purpose driven that we have to be aware of is the voices we listen to. The voices we listen to can have a tremendous impact on who we perceive we are. And here on the Who You Listening To podcast, you can rest assured you'll be left with food for thought in each conversation. You will be encouraged, you will be uplifted, and most importantly, what we all really desire is the truth. With a variety of different voices, other than just my own voice. In each conversation, you will hear the truth. Now that, my friends, is priceless. If you like what you have heard today, hit the subscribe button. And make sure before you leave out to click the like button if you enjoyed this video. Thank you for looking at this podcast. Look forward to talking with you next time on the Who You Listening To podcast with your main man, your host, Markey B. Blessings, love, peace.